компания Tufin. Наш спикер имеет 10-летний опыт в security. И очень крутой мужчина, на самом деле. Я не разбираюсь настолько сильно в DEVOPS, но меня поразило его знание, и я на самом деле тоже подписалась. Ну что, представляем следующего спикера, Lead Security архитектор компании Tufin, Михаил Фурман. Аплодисменты, пожалуйста. И с докладом Istio Security Overview.
Алло. Спасибо, Виктория. Thank you very much. I will continue English, and of course, you still will be able to contact me via Russian. Okay. My name is Michael Furman. Before I will start, who knows what is Istio? Okay, great. Who work already with Istio in your company? It's very good. And I guess so. It was my assumption that everyone knows what is Kubernetes, correct? Who does not know, let's say? Oh, so everybody knows it's very good. So before I will elaborate why you are here, I will tell one story from my life. I was security architect for a couple of years, a long time. One of most problematic issue is to ensure that components have secure communication. If you have two components and you need to ensure that these two components communicate each to other in secure way, you know, it's great, but it's like, you see, it was magic. I even did not touch it, but so it was most a problematic issue. With Istio, I will show, we will have demo, with Istio, you will be able to solve the problem of secure communication between services in very easy way. So while here, what's in it for me? In the end of the lecture, you will be able to understand what is Istio, and you will understand that it allows decouple security and other features from developers. And you will see how to protect web application. And of course, as I explained before, I will show you how to ensure secure communication between services. If we will have time, I will show some great add-ons. Most important, Istio allows you to focus on application development. And Istio handles security and other features. As you see already, like Genie already come without my hands. Genie does all the stuff, and you will have time to take care of the princess, okay? To take care of your code. Couple of words about me, and I have a lot of years in security. Couple of last year I worked in Tufin. It's my LinkedIn. Welcome to connect. It's my mail. I do like to do presentation. If you will read my blogs, you will see a couple of presentations that I did in conferences, in Meetup, on the various themes. And you can follow me on Twitter. And I do like to travel, to read books, and to listen to music. And in the end, you can send me email where this picture taken, if somebody recognizes. Couple of words about Tufin. It's a market leader in security policy orchestration for firewall and cloud. And firewall, it's everything. It's Amazon, Azure, VMware, everything. And we have a couple of products for DevOps. We have a lot of customers. We have a lot of enterprise customers. We established in 2005. But that's it. Let's start. What is Istio? So Istio is implementation of a service mesh. And it's also Greek term that means sales. So this is, you know, this is icon, logo of Istio. And you may ask me, what is service mesh? Service mesh is layer, additional layer. You have created a lot of microservices. You deploy it. And now you need to ensure that communication work in safe, fast, and reliable way. And this purpose, you will use service mesh. Service mesh allow to add additional capabilities like traffic control, failure recovery, service discovery, load balancing, security, observability. And once again, what is Istio? Istio is one of implementations of service mesh. It's additional implementation, maybe you know it's Linkerd, but we will talk in this lecture about Istio. It was developed, created by Google, IBM, and Lyft. And it's developed and designed as cross-platform product. It means it can work in any deployment, but it's very good work with Kubernetes, and I will show my demo will be on Kubernetes. Okay, so now let's talking about Istio. The Istio benefits. It's automatic traffic load balancing, fine-grained control, service-to-service communication. It's also allowed to gather metrics, logs, and traces. We will not have time to elaborate, to discuss every issue. And about each issue, I think it is possible to have lecture about half hours. I'm security architect, and I will try to show how Istio will allow you to improve security of your application. And you have question anytime and ask me. This is Istio architecture. I will, today, after our party, when we will drink, I will ask you about any component in this, and you will need to answer. But seriously, you don't need to remember each component. I will, once again, sorry, it's magic. It's like, sometimes it's, but I will elaborate shortly, but most important, you need to understand that Istio was designed in very careful way, where each component has very specific role. It's proxy. I will elaborate about proxy because it's very important. It's allowed to add to Istio additional functionalities. Citadel, it's key management. We will talk more about it when I will show security architecture. It's a pilot. It's traffic management capabilities. It allows to configure deployments and configuration of components. Mixers, it's enforcement. It's just access control and configuration of policy of proxies. And last one, it's Galley, it's configuration validation. Once again, after the drinking party, I will ask about each component. Istio proxy, it's very important. It's allowed to add functionality to existing deployment without a change a line of code. And I will repeat it because I think it's very important. It's implemented via sidecar. Like a sidecar, it's if you, why it's called sidecar? Because it's resemble a sidecar attached to your bicycle or to a motorcycle. Like in regular life, sidecar allowed to add additional functionality to motorcycle. For example, you can bring a child, a small child, to kindergarten or whatever. Sidecar proxy allows to add additional functionality to services. And it's very important design pattern in microservices. Istio has implemented this design pattern. Additional issue, we will see in the demo in a couple of minutes, proxy should be injected into pods. If you will not inject sidecar proxy into pods, you will not be able to benefit from Istio features. How to do it? You don't need to remember the command. The simplest way to do it is automatic sidecar injection using this command. Once again, don't remember it. But when you will do it, you will have a magic and you will be able to benefit from Istio features for each pod. This is very important. For each pod with sidecar proxy. Okay, booking info application. Istio has great documentation, great. And I will use during my presentation a real example from Istio. And once again, by the way, don't need to, to parse command that I will show. In the end, I will show the link where all demos published. You will happy you will enjoy the show. Let's start the show. So this is the application. What we have here a couple of pods, couple of services, and I already deployed okay, it's not my deployment. I already deployed Istio in Google Kubernetes engine cluster. It's very simple deployment. It's very simple also to enable Istio. And what we have here, you can see that we have in, we have a couple of pods, and in each pod we have one container. It means that Istio is not deployed. To show it in easy way, I will use Tufin product called Tufin Orca. It's a great product for DEVOPS. It allows to add policies to container environments. You can Google it. This is not presentation about Tufin Orca. It's presentation about Istio. But Tufin Orca allows me to show in easy way pods and container status. You see here, we have deployed, and in each pod we have only one container. Let's see it in live. Okay. Okay. So I cannot use Istio. What can I do? So, as I said before, we need to inject sidecars, and I'm trying to run it. Now I have instructed Istio to inject sidecar to each pod that it will be deployed. If I will try to refresh the status now, it will be the same. What I need to do, I need to redeploy once again. I will delete all pods, and what will happen? First of all, it will take time till these pods will be redeployed, but when container will be added to pods, Istio will inject near this container additional container Istio. Let's see it in live. Okay, it's still not started. Let's wait to, it's, okay. Now they started. Oh, okay. You see, for each, it takes time. Probably Google Cloud work. Okay. You can see that in each pod we have two containers, one original and second Istio proxy. This is very important. I've explained it, that I will repeat it, but this is most important. If you will deploy sidecar, you will be able to use Istio features. Okay, you see, it's a Istio proxy deployed in each container. Sorry. Let's deploy now Istio gateway. But before we do it, let's try to access, by the way, sorry, I will good that I have all commons. Just you can see the same, very similar result here, and you see in each container you have, in each pod you have 2 containers, but it's very difficult to see it. It's easier to do it in Orca. Now let's try to, we have web application. Let's try access it locally first of all. Let's see if it will return result. Yes, we have results, but as you understand, it's deployed locally. You cannot access from outside. Istio allows to configure Istio gateway, and when you will add Istio gateway, you see, you will be able to access it from any place. Let's do it. Once again, we will deploy. And let's configure ports and hosts. It's possible to access from any place. Let's do it in a browser. Okay, so we have access. It's basic and easy feature of Istio, establish access from using gateway from any place in the world. Let's continue. Who knows what is secure HTTP headers? Great. And when you have deployed and created your web application, the easiest way to improve security of your web application, of course, I will not talk about HTTPS, it's obvious, but the most simple way is to add HTTP headers that improve security. You can access secure HTTP header in OSP list, and the way you will have one HTTP header that will try to prevent cross-site script attack. One HTTP header will try to ensure that you don't have no sniffing. There is a long list of HTTP headers, each have meanings, but the simple way is just to add it. Okay? Now let's see how to do it using, using Envoy filter, but before it, how you can test your current status. There is a great site called Security HTTP Headers, and you can test your application, but I strongly recommend, to hide results, because maybe your application is great, you will be in Hall of Fame, but if unfortunately you will be in Hall of Shame, let's first ensure that only you see it, and then maybe you will improve security and will be in great place. But let's test we have created our application. Let's test it. Once again, it's possible to access from anywhere. Oh, very bad. Why? Because we have 0 HTTP headers. We don't by default, no one with HTTP headers. What that can do, I strongly recommend to read great blog of Patrick Spiegel. It's elaborate why we need to add HTTP headers, what HTTP headers to add. More important, it have out-of-the-box provided and filter for Envoy, for ingress Envoy, that will allow us to add HTTP headers. Let's do it. I will elaborate it in a second. Let's first deploy it. Wait, sorry. Okay, we have enabled filter. It's very simple. Okay, if we don't have content security policy, just add it. If we don't have X-frame options, add, recommended option, deny. If you don't have HTTP headers for XSS protection, just add it. Let's see what happens now with our site. Wow. Do you remember Harry Potter? So it's in 1 second, we have improved security from very bad result to very good result. And now it's good as it scroll down. And here you can find all HTTP headers that was added by this filter. And here you can find this HTTP headers that, you know, each description for each HTTP headers. So, questions before we will, if we will proceed to HTTP, to security. Now we just added envoy filter. Great. If you will have any question, we can access later after that. Okay. How we can use Istio with security? First of all, security by default, I will repeat, no code changes. You have deployed your application and you can use Istio to enable security. It will allow you to build security solution for untrusted networks. And this is security architecture. And each components now play some additional role. For example, proxy, it allows secure communication between clients and service. Okay? Citadel, it's, as said before, it's key and certificate management and also enables service-to-service authentication. Pilot, distribute authentication policies. Okay, and the mixer, it's just manage authorization and audit. Once again, each component plays dedicated role. Now I will show you mutual TLS example. It's also example based on Istio side. During this, we have deployed, I already deployed, I will show in a second. We have two namespaces, two new namespaces with Istio services. What I mean Istio services, when you have sidecar enabled here. And one legacy. Let's say you have created, it's represent it's not microservice. Just for demonstration purpose, we have deployed additional namespace called legacy, but reality, it means you have some legacy service, and you will see that it's easier to do service-to-service communication for Istio services. When at Istio service, it means sidecar injection. And legacy service without secure communication. Okay. Let's do it. As I said, I already deployed it. And let's see the deployment into Fin Orca. Okay. Bar namespace with Istio proxies. Legacy, foo also. Istio without Istio. Legacy without Istio. Okay, let's continue. This is what we see in live. Now let's try to access. We have in each, we have sleep and HTTP bin. And during demo, we will access from sleep to HTTP bin service. And of course, when mutual TLS disabled, I will elaborate in a second what is mutual TLS disabled. But now, after deployment, we can access from any service to any service. Sorry. Great. Okay, it's correct because I need to connect to second cluster. And now the same component will work. Okay. Because once again, one cluster was deployed with Istio with first example, second cluster with second example. You can see that any request will work. What I mean, with, with mutual TLS. I will explain it when I will apply it. See, authentication mesh policy that configure Istio to ensure that now it is possible to access each service using TLS. It's called mutual TLS. You see, we have couple of lines, and we have mesh policy with name default, and this is the magic. This simple MTLS instruct Istio to ensure that if request come to any service, it will be required TLS. Let's see. It's mean, it's envoy. We'll check, do we have any certificate in incoming request? If we don't have any certificate in incoming request, it will blocked. Before I will continue, if anyone has suggestions, now you see how we will be able to do it using service mesh. What is your opinion? How it's possible to do without service mesh? Not about, okay, no service mesh. What do we need to do? What is your ideas? Maybe you have it from, from your experience. In my past, what I required to do is, one, I need to create certificate for each service, and I need to exchange this certificate using some script between the two microservices. And, its certificates expired, and it was not so simple. And what we have with MTLS, using this command only. Let's see now that, maybe still it's possible to access. And you can see that if you will try to access from sleep to HTTP bin, you have request is denied. Okay. By the way, it's also okay. It's also from legacy. It's also from Istio service, because now we have instructed Istio only to check incoming request. The next simple command will instruct all Istio services to use client certificate during outcoming request. Do you remember Citadel? Citadel, when we have deployed Istio, Citadel generate certificate for each service. Okay? Now, if you will try to access, let's see it here. What will happen if you have an outcoming request? Istio will use client-side certificate of this envoy proxy. It will come to next service, and this, in this case, envoy will see that incoming request with client certificate authentication, and request will success. It's once again magic by Harry Potter. What do you think? Do we have any options to configure legacy services to communicate to Istio services? Any, simple. In our example, we will not able to do it because no one will generate client certificate for legacy service. Okay? Oh, what's going on? By the way, very simple, because of we have now the other error code, not 503. It's because of implementation of transport layer. But in any case, you cannot access the service. Okay. Questions regarding security? Because I see we have time, and I will be able to show you very great feature called Istio add-ons. Great. In addition to security, Istio allows to query metrics with add-ons called Prometheus. It's allowed to show, we will be able to see these metrics in very good dashboards. The list of add-ons is very long, it's growing. Anyone can create additional add-ons. And for example, also we will be able to trace requests with Jagger. I will not be able to show you everything, but I will try to show you how can you see metrics with Grafana. What kind of metrics? When you deploy web application, it's very important to see how many requests you have total. What's overall volume of traffic? Maybe you have some failed request. What's response time? With Istio, we can do it automatically. That means it's out of the box. Of course, the list of metrics is very long. Okay, and we will see Grafana in a couple of. Now I will go back to my first demo, and I need to connect to first cluster. Okay, let's install first of all Prometheus. Grafana cannot work without Prometheus. Okay, now I understand. Okay, and then you will install Grafana. Okay, it's not my computer. I will not be able to show you a Grafana dashboard because it's required installation of Google SDK on this computer, and we don't have Google SDK on this computer. But if we will look before takeaways, okay, if we will look on a demo, you will see that real example from this dashboard. So you will see it's great dashboards that include HTTP requests and everything in very, very good way. Sorry that I will not able to show it to you. Let's back to presentation. So, takeaways. Takeaways from my point of view, what most important, you need to understand what Istio is, how you will be able to use it using sidecars, and you know how to protect your services using Istio. And if you have any question, of course you can ask, but demos available here, okay? And if you will look at my wait a second. Let's. Oh, how can I copy? Sorry. Yes, wait a second. I just will show the dashboard here, and then I will. Oi. Wait a second. Like last try. Okay. If you will Grafana demo using this example, and in the end you can see, this request for this application. Before I will answer that, but you can here you can find all context information related to me, and yes, questions. Okay. Okay, I will. Раз.
Таким вещам sensitive for latency, Redis, memcache, база. Нужно ли это там?
Еще раз. После сервис. И между сервис и кэш?
Не когда в сервис уходишь, а сервис ходит на Redis, memcache, когда что-то быстрое хранилище в памяти, и ответ, вот эта вся история шифрования, она увеличивает ответ оттуда. Ну и как бы Redis, memcache одной стороной, и вот в нашей истории походы на PGBounce. Миллионы запросов на базу, они будут
Два вопроса было. Первый вопрос это
накладные расходы на сервис mesh как таковой.
Performance. Мы можем поискать Istio, они все время, они знают про эту проблему, и все время они все время улучшают перформанс. Окей? Это да, проблема с перформанс, но все время memory footprint и перформанс улучшается. Второе, by default, out of the box, easy for me to answer in English, sorry. Out of the box, Prometheus configured to gather a lot of information. You can configure Prometheus to gather only important metrics. What is important to you? Or disable Prometheus at all. Но секунду, это второй вопрос, security, правильно? По поводу security, это зависит от продукта. Допустим, в нашем случае мы не имеем права, как занимаемся фаерволами, мы не имеем права, чтобы service-to-service communication было non-secured. HTTPS and TLS communication, это by default, это тратит более компьютер resources и performance ниже. Поэтому использовать MTLS зависит от аппликации. Просто если это нужно, Istio позволяет добавлять это очень простым способом. И если, соответственно, есть performance penalty. Там был еще вопрос.
Yes, I have two questions if you don't mind. First one is short. What would you recommend for those who do not run all the workloads in Kubernetes and want to get all the service mesh goodies?
Can you repeat, please? Sorry. What do you recommend for what?
if you do not run all the workloads in Kubernetes and you want to get this service mesh, all the good things which come with it, are there any options with Istio?
So Linkerd, okay, it's HashiCorp has started to create a service mesh. Red Hat has started to create service mesh for OpenShift. I mean, and I do believe that finally it's even Istio will run for any deployment. But you know, Kubernetes is Kubernetes is easier way to deploy microservices. So if you have started with OpenShift, you will take service mesh of Red Hat. Answer?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And another one, if you you said that Istio protects HTTP and all high-level protocols, but let's say you have a requirement that you need to have firewall that restricts all the traffic which comes in and out of an application, let's say UDP, DNS, whatever.
It's of, Google is our friend, and we can once again look at the internet. I'm not familiar because not possible to do traffic management, FAQ. Currently, UDP traffic is not supported.
Thanks.
Okay. Other questions? And I want to thank you once again for your time. It was my pleasure to elaborate about Istio. And you will be able to, once again, to contact me here or ask me any question during the party or after the party. Thank you very much.